Most of you watching this video are probably fans of Destiny or have been a fan of the franchise at some point in time. You all probably joined into the game at different points in time, and all of you have fond memories of the series. I want to go back and give my thoughts on the different eras of Destiny and the franchise as a whole, and I plan on making a series of these videos going from the launch of Destiny all the way to Beyond Light and covering everything in between. The videos in this series will have a lot more subjectivity than most on my channel, as these videos are going to show how the series and my involvement in it have grown over time. But anyways, let's get started with the first era of Destiny, which is the launch of D1. But before I get into that, I want to remind everyone that if you like the video and want to see the rest of the series, please like and subscribe so you don't miss my next upload. But anyways, back to year 1. I was in 6th grade when Destiny 1 launched. At the time, my favorite games were Halo Reach and Halo 4. I loved both of these games, but they got old and I was looking for something to scratch that sci-fi itch. Then I saw an ad for Destiny, which was by the creators of Halo. This had me sold on the game before I'd even seen gameplay. I wasn't the only one of my friends who was excited either, as within a few days of the game coming out, myself along with 4 of my friends all purchased the game, and we were really excited to finally play it. The opening mission itself was really well done and got us really invested in the game, but what followed was not quite so great. The game was not what we were expecting. The campaign was very boring with little to no story to it, and the enemies just seemed really dumb and boring. This led to a very lackluster campaign, especially compared to the previous games made by Bungie, which were the Halo games. Besides a few missions and strikes, we thought most of the PvE side of the game was just pointless and boring. We never did the raid during this time because our 6th grade minds just couldn't handle the damn thing. But we didn't stop playing. In fact, we played the game a lot, and that is because of 3 reasons: the Crucible, the loot, and the tower. These might seem like some rather odd choices, but I will go more in depth on them in a little bit. But basically what you should understand at this time is that, at least among my friend group, we thought the PvE side of Destiny was completely pointless. It was not fun, the enemies were just super bullet spongy, they weren't exciting to play against, there wasn't really any interesting combat scenarios, there were very few memorable moments like there were in, say, Halo, which had endless jaw-dropping moments all throughout the campaign. Destiny had a few of those, but not that many. And the gameplay, as I said, it was just not very fun. It was very repetitive, and the boss design was just horrid. It was just super big dudes that just tanked a lot of bullets. It was not at all interesting or engaging. But at the time, and honestly still today, Destiny was a rather unique game, especially within the first-person shooter genre. And being able to take the guns I earned throughout the game into an arena PvP mode was really cool and unique at the time, and it carried the game for me. All the different guns and abilities were so fun to use in the Crucible. The first time I used a Nova Bomb, I thought it was the coolest thing ever, and the mode just had me addicted. I played match after match of Control just endlessly, non-stop. All of the maps were extremely fun to play on, and they were all really unique. If you compare Destiny 1 maps and Destiny 2 maps, you'll see there's so much more variety in D1 than D2. Maps had teleporters, vehicles, moving parts, and other super unique features that made every map feel fun to play and unique. The loot drops from the end of Crucible games are honestly one of my most missed features from Destiny 1. There's just something cool about seeing what everyone on your team got after an activity. And it was especially fun when you had a full fire team of friends and you could flex on them with a super rare drop. It was extremely addicting to watch loot drops come in at the end of Crucible matches in Destiny 1, and it was super satisfying to get a good weapon when everyone else on your team got some blues or a Mote of Light. I remember when my friend got Monte Carlo to drop from a Crucible match, and we thought he was a god at the game because we had never even seen an exotic before, and we had no idea they were even in the game. After that, we all spent a lot of time looking up how to get exotics and what were the best weapons in the game. We would also compete to see who could get the highest light level at the time, as it was a rather complicated process to level, and we didn't entirely understand it, but it was still fun just to compete to see who had the highest number. We never got to the final max level of 32 at the time, but it was still a fun chase. And when we were finally burnt out on Crucible for the day, we would then go to the tower and spend our currencies and just mess around. While the tower has a lot of wasted potential, and it really is nothing more than a glorified menu, my friends and I had a lot of fun at the Destiny 1 tower, and this is because we would play tag, soccer, hide and seek, ball tag, the floor is lava, King of the Hill, and one of my personal favorites, Infection. I know this may seem weird to a lot of people, but I do not think I'm joking when I say I spent more time playing tag and other minigames at the tower than I ever spent in PvE during the launch of Destiny 1. I don't know what it was about the tower, but my friends and I could just have so much fun in the space. We would search for all the little secrets hidden in the tower, we would create parkour courses and time ourselves to complete them, and we would come up with all sorts of mini games that we could play at the tower. Since the game didn't launch with a custom games browser, or like a custom games just private matches at all, we had to play custom games at the tower. Infection and tag were my favorites to play. Basically how it worked is we would tag each other by running into each other. It required a bit of an honor system between players, but it was overall really fun. These minigames would honestly get really sweaty, which has led to the tower being one of my favorite and most nostalgic parts of Destiny. Looking back on it now, I can honestly say Destiny was a pretty bad game at launch. I mean, the PvE lacked all sorts of meaningful content, loot was super unfair to get, the leveling system made very little sense, the PvP was super unbalanced, and the game was just full of cheeses. But even with all of these flaws, I was still able to have a fun time with Destiny during this time. If Destiny 1 released like this today, would I buy and play it? Well, honestly, probably not. If it released like this today, it would probably end up like Anthem, and Bungie would more than likely be shutting their doors. But I am glad that I did play it at the time, as some of my favorite memories are from this game. Anyways, that's my retrospective on the launch of Destiny 1, and I really want to hear if you guys played the game during this time, and if you did, what were your thoughts on it? It's a lot different than Destiny is today. And anyways, next up, I'm looking at the Dark Below and House of Wolves DLCs, so please subscribe if you don't want to miss that episode in the series, and until next time, goodbye.